"Get out of my home and don't ever come back. You mean nothing now." Those were the first words my brother said to me after our mother was buried. The house still smelled like her lavender oil. Her teacup was in the sink, untouched. The curtains she loved swayed gently, as if nothing had changed. But everything had. He stood in the doorway, one hand gripping the will, the other pointing at the street like I was a stranger who had overstayed her welcome. "I inherited everything," he added, calmer this time, almost proud. "The house, the money, there's nothing here for you." I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just looked past him, at the framed photo of us as children, sitting on the same steps he was now blocking. Back when hours meant something. So I picked up my bag and walked out without a word. 3 days later, I sat across from our mother's lawyer as he adjusted his glasses, read the will again, and then laughed. "Did you even read the whole thing?" he asked. That was the moment everything changed. I've always been the quiet one, the one people assume will bend before they ever bother to ask. My brother Daniel filled every room before he even stepped into it. Loud, confident, certain the world owed him something. Our mother used to say we were balance, his fire, my patience. But balance only works when both sides respect it. After our father died, I stayed. I managed the bills, scheduled her appointments, learned the exact way she liked her tea. 2 minutes, no more. Daniel visited when it suited him, usually with excuses dressed as ambition. "Work is busy," he'd say, glancing at his watch more than at her. I never corrected anyone when they assumed he was the responsible one. It was easier that way, easier to let them believe I was just there. But my mother noticed everything. The nights I sat by her bed when she couldn't sleep. The way I fixed things quietly before they broke completely. She never made a show of gratitude. She didn't need to. The last week before she passed, she held my hand a little tighter than usual. "Not everything is what it looks like," she whispered. I didn't understand it then. Daniel thought he did. The first thing Daniel did after I left was change the locks. He didn't tell me. I found out when I came back the next morning for the last of my things. The key turned halfway, then stopped. I stood there for a second, hand still on the handle, as if the door might reconsider. It didn't. Through the window, I could see him moving inside, slow and deliberate. He knew I was there, he just didn't open it. Later, he texted me, "You should have taken everything yesterday. I'm busy today." No apology, no explanation, just a quiet closing of a door that had already been shut. At the lawyer's office, he sat across from me, legs crossed, tapping the edge of the desk like he owned not just the house, but the air around it. When the lawyer asked if we had both reviewed the will, Daniel smiled faintly. "I've read enough," he said, glancing at me, the corner of his mouth lifting just slightly. "Some of us don't need things spelled out." I said nothing, just folded my hands in my lap. The same way I had done my whole life, letting him speak, letting him assume. He mistook silence for surrender. He always had. The lawyer didn't stop smiling when Daniel said that. He leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled, studying my brother the way someone studies a detail they already understand. "Interesting," he murmured. Then he opened the will again, slower this time, as if the weight of the paper had changed. "Your mother was very precise," he added. Daniel shifted slightly, the confidence still there, but thinner now. "I'm aware," he said. "She left me the house and the accounts." "That's clear." "Yes," the lawyer nodded. "That part is clear." A small pause followed. Not long, but long enough for something to settle in the room. I felt it before I understood it. "However," the lawyer continued, tapping a specific paragraph, "ownership and control are not always the same thing." Daniel's hand stilled on the desk. That was the moment I stopped being the quiet one in my own mind. I didn't interrupt. I didn't lean forward. I just listened, really listened, for the first time without shrinking myself to make space for him. Because suddenly I realized something simple and sharp. My mother had seen everything, and she hadn't left things the way Daniel thought. She had left them exactly the way I needed. I didn't rush out of the office. I didn't confront him in the hallway, or chase the look that had started to crack across his face. I simply asked the lawyer for a copy of the full will, every clause, every note my mother had left behind. Then I went somewhere quiet and read it properly, not like Daniel had, skimming for ownership. For headlines, but line by line, the way I used to review her medical reports, catching what others overlooked. Patterns revealed themselves quickly. The house was in his name, yes. The money too, but the conditions wrapped around them were precise, deliberate. and binding. I spent the next 2 days verifying everything. Property records, account structures, a trust clause that required co-signature authority for liquidation. My mother hadn't denied him ownership. She had simply made it impossible for him to control it alone. I didn't need to argue. The law would do that for me. When I called the bank, I introduced myself calmly, provided the documentation, and asked them to flag the accounts for compliance review. Then I contacted the property registrar and submitted a formal notice tied to the clause the lawyer had pointed out. No threats, no emotion, just quiet corrections. By the time Daniel realized something was wrong, the system was already answering for me. Daniel called me 3 days later. Not shouting, not angry, just controlled in a way that told me something beneath it wasn't. "There's an issue with the accounts," he said. A pause. "They've been restricted." I was sitting by the window of a small cafe, sunlight catching the edge of the documents in front of me. I let the silence stretch just enough before answering. "That's not an issue," I said quietly. "That's a condition." Another pause, longer this time. "What did you do?" he asked. "Nothing," I replied. "I just read what you didn't." He showed up at the house that evening, the house he had claimed so easily. I was already there, standing on the porch he once blocked me from. This time I had a key, not a replacement, authorization. Inside, everything looked the same, but the air had shifted. He moved through the rooms faster now, opening drawers, checking papers, as if control might be hiding somewhere he hadn't looked. "It's mine," he said, quieter than before. "On paper," I agreed. "But not without me." He finally looked at me then, not past me, not through me, at me. And for the first time, he understood the difference. News travels quietly in the kinds of circles Daniel cared about. The bank didn't argue with him, they explained, calmly, repeatedly, compliance, co-authorization, fiduciary structure, words that sounded neutral but carried weight. His tone changed with each call, confidence thinning into something tighter, more careful. Relatives who once praised him for stepping up began asking softer questions. Not to me, never directly, but I heard it in the pauses when my name came up. In the way they started including me again, cautiously, as if correcting a mistake without admitting it. Daniel stopped making bold statements. He started reading before signing, started listening when people spoke, not out of humility, out of necessity. We didn't fight. We barely spoke. But the distance between us wasn't silence anymore. It was awareness. For me, the shift was quieter. I wasn't angry. I wasn't triumphant. Just steady. The kind of steady that comes from no longer needing to prove your place in a room. Because this was never about the house or the money. It was about being erased, and then, without raising my voice, making it impossible for that to ever happen again. That's why it matters. Not because I won, but because I was finally seen. In the weeks that followed, I stopped measuring everything against what Daniel had taken, or tried to. The house became quieter again, not because he left, but because something in him settled. We moved around each other carefully at first, like strangers learning the shape of a shared space. Then slowly, like people who remembered they once belonged to the same story. We never revisited that day. We didn't need to. The will had said everything our mother couldn't say out loud. I began making small changes, nothing dramatic. Fresh curtains, a different place for her teacup. I kept her routines, but not as obligations anymore, as choices. That was the difference I carried forward. I was no longer the person who stayed because no one else would. I stayed because I decided to. Daniel adjusted too. Less certain, more observant, not fixed but aware. Sometimes that's the only real beginning people get. As for me, I stopped being quiet in the ways that erased me. I still speak softly. But now I understand something I didn't before. Silence isn't weakness. It's where I learned to hear everything.